Hey everybody, welcome back to another Interval with I. Today I have Rory joining me, and as you can see we're both wearing some My Hero Academia shirts. Rory's favorite character of the big three he mentioned to me was Todoroki, so I went with that shirt. And I got Bakugo because Sergio, my other friend, mentioned that his favorite of the big three of Class 1A was Deku, so I went with Bakugo of those three. And I do really like Bakugo. He can be annoying sometimes with his anger and everything, but I do like his line of stay out of my way extras and other things like that. So, and as I saw today, he had a lot of growth and has been doing pretty awesome. So I have a new respect for Bakugo.
He's a solid character.
He is. He's really growing on me. He's, like, at first, as I say, like, I couldn't stand him. But, like, that dead out of my way extras line was the one thing I liked about him, but now he's actually growing and becoming a person, a bit of a human.
You can really see that.
Yeah. So we got to go see My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising, over in Oakville today.
Such a baller movie.
It was a wonderful movie. So we're going to give you a review. We're going to do without spoilers at first, and at a certain point we'll mention that we're moving into spoilers and talking a bit about more spoilery stuff. So you can either choose to stop then if you don't want any spoilers, or continue joining us if you've seen it or don't care about spoilers. So first I'm going to talk about the music, actually, because I'm a very music person, and music makes movies or like anything to me. Like, that's why I don't like horror movies, because the music and the sound effects always gets to me. Like, I can watch a trailer for a horror movie without the sound, but add in that sound and I'm done. So the music for My Hero Academia was just so well put together, and like for the scenes it was needed in, or like even the end credits music, it was just a great score, I found. And like, I would put it up.
The intensity.
Right? It adds into the intensity, and just also like the somber moments just adds to that too. So just that awesome score that almost rivals things like Star Wars and Jaws for me. Now, some people say those are like monumental scores and stuff.
Iconic.
Like, I get the iconic thing for people, but I would say that they're kind of equal. So I'm going to let Rory talk about the character development a bit and see how he thought on that and what kind of happened there a bit.
I guess I was really glad to see some of the heroes that were in it. Actually, they were all there, like 1A. And I think one of my favorite aspects about this was how each character had a big role to play. Nobody was just kind of second fiddle or just there because. They all had a big role to play, and all of their quirks and their personalities came out. You saw what you'd expect from some of them, even in the series and whatnot. And then you even saw a lot of them just break out of that and really rise to that hero status that they're all pursuing. So I loved watching that class work as a team. To be honest, it was, in terms of like teamwork, like much better than the way, like, say, the Avengers or Justice League or even Fantastic Four, how they work together as a team. Class 1A fighting as a team. So well done. So amazing how the characters were able to jump into that role of hero.
Yeah, it's true. They all melded well together and all got their like chance to shine as a hero and like not be just thrown off to the side as like, oh, you're a support person in this way. But each one was like seen as a hero in their own right and everything. And
for sure.
So then we had the animation, and like the fight scenes we'll go into next. I thought it was really well done. Like, Studio Bones does a really good job with their animation from what I've seen in My Hero Academia now in the movies. Like, we watched both of them today, but in the second one even, like, some of the climatic battles and everything were just so intense and like well animated. I found like it wasn't like trying to draw away from them. There was one point in one of the battles where I was kind of a little taken back by the animation. It seemed like it was kind of just taking the people out of the animation for a moment, and just kind of flashing and not really showing much to it. Was the one fine point I did find in one of the battles only that really lacked in any way.
That scene definitely. And it's not subtle,
right? It's like, it's pretty obvious of like, okay, what's happening and where did they go? So were there any specific other ones that really stood out to you, and without going into them in too much detail? But
I think I'm gonna say watching Bakugo and Midoriya just working together, fighting together. Really, they worked really well as a team, and especially when you know that their personalities clash, and them as characters. So they're meant to butt heads and whatnot. But when you see them move past that and just like do what they've got to do, that was definitely my favorite of Heroes Rising because it was just well put together, well animated, and really got you on board with both of them. Whether you liked Bakugo more or whether you like Midoriya or whatnot, like you just enjoy watching the two of them work together.
It's true. They are a very good team when they actually start to agree and have to be. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. When they have to be a team. So now we're going to move into the spoiler territory and talk more open about. And this is going to be including manga as well. So if you haven't caught up on the manga, probably also this will be spoilers towards that. Rory has heard most of my opinions on it already and stuff, so whether he felt bad about those spoilers or not, I apologize. But
not at all.
We talked about it, and so he already knows anything I'm going to share, so that's why he can join me in this still. So we're going to move into that, as I say. So one thing I really enjoyed about this movie is that there's a theory about Bakugo being a prior user of One For All. And so this theory comes about from seeing the One For All shadows and people when Midoriya is using it and stuff. And this movie showed multiple of those people and still two shadows in the background. And they looked a little different in the movie than what they looked like in the manga to me from looking at them, but it also only shows a glimpse, so it's hard to compare without having seen any photos yet. But one of those people is believed to be Bakugo, as I said. So in this movie, Heroes Rising, it brought that to a great point. And like whether people theorize Bakugo getting it another way or not, Bakugo got One For All. He got One For All in the end of this movie, and it was wonderful. Like, as I say, to know that, like, okay, so he had One For All, so he could be one of those past users for One For All, as it's like kind of showing with that shadow. And that shadow, Rory, I showed the shadow, and it looks completely like
I was
Bakugo.
not aware of this theory going on out there about who these different silhouettes were, but when I saw the silhouette, I was like, oh, that is totally Bakugo. And after actually having seen the movie before I saw the silhouette, it's almost unmistakable. It's like, that's definitely Bakugo, and it makes complete sense.
Yeah. So the one thing that really annoyed me with this movie, the one thing that I didn't enjoy is how they ended up dealing with it, though. Because Deku still has One For All, and he didn't do anything to get it back. He shared it with Bakugo,
which annoyed me at first.
He gave it to Bakugo during their fight. But, so they're both using it for a period of time, and at the end of the fight, the embers go out for Deku.
Yep.
The fire, it shows a picture of the fire, and it goes out.
Same way it did for All Might.
Right?
Yeah.
Exact same way it did for All Might. But then, All Might is with Bakugo and Deku, and Deku tells All Might, he's like, I gave Bakugo All For One, because we needed to during this fight, and like we needed 2 All For One users to beat this person, and so I had to share it, and now I've lost it. And he goes unconscious, and all of a sudden, All Might sees like Midoriya start glowing again with All For One, and he's like, what? Kind of confused, and Midoriya has All For One back, and Bakugo doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And the way they say this is like, it's a miracle that happened, and like they don't give it any real explanation, and the actual write-off for it is that Bakugo doesn't even remember having All For One.
And doesn't even remember fighting with Midoriya.
Yeah, like he remembers up to like a certain point, I'd imagine, in that fight, but like once they do their combination and stuff, he doesn't remember that part of it.
Oh, man.
And we know he knows All For One's secret and everything, and Deku's secret, but like they still are like, no, he doesn't remember having actual All For One. So
personally, I thought it would have been better. Actually,
we're calling All For One, but it's One For All.
It's almost interchangeable sometimes,
right? I'm like, oh.
But honestly, I think it would have been better if Bakugo had given it back willingly, saying, "You are the rightful heir to this or the rightful recipient of this, and he gave it back, that would have been so much better than just cop-out way to defeat the villain, and then cop-out way to make sure Bakugo doesn't like hold it in his face or something later.
It's true. It would have been a lot better way. Like, when I was watching the battle even, I was like, oh, at the end of this battle, if Midoriya wants to keep One for All and Bakugo wants, like, I would assume that's to keep his court too, he's just going to take a hair, as they did, and Bakugo's going to give it to Deku to eat. And I was like, oh, that would make sense to me. But then they took a really weird way around it and were like, nah, it never really happened, guys, basically.
Yeah.
So that was kind of an annoyance. One big spoiler that the movie reveals itself, for those who only follow the anime, is the Doctor. For those of you who read the manga, you know about the Doctor and how the Doctor is a member of the League of Villains. And the Doctor who told Deku, you're worthless, is actually the Doctor who's been making Nomu and worked for All for One and now working with Shigaraki as well. So it's just, they showed that straight up in this movie, and it made sense because this movie falls in line with where the manga is currently. From what I understand, they did avoid Hots very well, though.
Yeah,
they
I
showed
knew nothing
Hots
about him
yeah.
at all in the series, and only in the movie. I'm like, oh, this is like rando guy who's like super high up.
Yep. So he's actually, we do know he is the number 3 hero or something like that. Because we got shown that back when All Might was the number 1 hero, from what I remember. And so he is a high up hero, and that's why he's like high up and known and stuff. But they don't say anything more about him. They don't show his power. He does come to Tokoyami, which is awesome for those of you who know the manga, and I'm going to avoid that part, as that's something I'm avoiding spoiling for Rory in the manga currently, what the actual arc is. But so that he came to Tokoyami and chose him out of all the students to like be the first one to find. It was kind of a nice playoff for that part in the manga too. Aside from that, the kids it introduced, I really liked those kids, and the way it introduced them was awesome. I had a moment of, I'm going to talk about Faith here as well, for those of you who want to stay around and stuff. So the sister actually calls the UA Hero Agency, as they call it, and is like, I've lost my brother. And so the heroes, Deku and a couple others, come and they find the brother. And the sister's actually there waiting for them to, like, and timing them. But even when she comes and gives Deku trouble, she's like, it took you too long. Why did you take too long? You should be doing this better. You're not a hero. Deku, he doesn't bring her out or anything or feel bad. He's very kind, and he's like, oh, I'm so glad you found your brother.
Very humble
like,
about it.
And so this just gave me really good, like, and reminded me about, like, how Jesus feels with us and how the angels and God, like, when we're lost and, like, when someone's found, like, whether another, like, you've been going through whatever sins or whatever crap in your life and everything, it's just that they're happy to have you back. They're so glad that you're, like, found. And even if someone else is like, oh, how dare you come and be this way, no, they're glad that you're there and back to, like, have you with them. God is happy when anyone joins with him and wants to be a member of his family. So it was a great reminder in that way for me, and just one of those themes I saw that came out in the movie. There's obviously a lot of others, but that's the one that really stuck out for me and just made me have a great moment in that moment, even for that aspect.
Yeah, for sure. And I think to kind of piggyback that, with Deku, if you even think about at the end of the movie how he was willing to give up One for All because he wanted to protect everyone on the island. You think of that to correlate as, like, he's thinking of the everyone on the island as his flock, and he's acting in kind of a good shepherd manner to care for his flock.
That's awesome. That's true, yeah. I didn't really make that connection at the point or anything, but that's a great connection to it too. So for this movie, I would probably give it a plus ultra out of 10. Or a 12 out of 10, to be honest, for me. I found this... Actually, no. Let's give it an honest rating. I would say probably a 8.2 out of 10. Because of that one fight scene, that really like it stuck out. Like it's a drop in the bucket there. Like you notice it. It's
definitely.
And like the whole Bakugo forgetting thing and way they dealt that's gonna drop it down to an 8.2 for me. Like it was a wonderful movie, great fight scenes, great sequences, great villains. Like they were wonderful. Like Chimera is such a powerful villain and just like literally being told to hibernate. That was a good line. I'm like, oh, way to go. Way to go, Todoroki.
Oh, Todoroki, man. For the win.
How about you? What would you rate this at out of 10?
I would probably rate it 8. 8. So, like even 8 out of 10. Definitely one of the best kind of anime series adaptation into movie that there is. Probably my second favorite. To sidetrack, first being Dragon Ball Super Broly.
That is a good one.
So this would be a solid 8 out of 10. Nothing specific that jumps out at me. I think like that ending scene, kind of the same thing. Probably why that animation just becoming mostly just flashy, almost like flash photography,
right.
And then you can't get over the fact that you've ended the whole thing off on a cop out. Right. So that's where it probably loses points. I would say to give it to the 8, and it doesn't give it any 8 points or 9 for me.
Okay.
Otherwise, still stands as an absolutely solid, fantastic anime movie.
That's great. And so one other note I want to give you guys, and Rory doesn't know this either, but the author who made this movie, like, and writes the My Hero Academia movie, so he made the movies as well, like, wrote the scripts for them or whatever, or the story. And so, like, he has said to certain publications or whatever that this is going to be the last My Hero movie. Okay. Which sucks. Like, I'm like, I would love to see another My Hero movie with how awesome they've been, like, with things they've been able to add as a movie that you don't see in episodes as much. But so hopefully there will be another one. I really hope there is, and would love to see how that continues with the Manga stories as well, being like a little side spin-off to them, and giving, like, as Rory said, giving each character that time and like ability to shine rather than focusing on, like, yes, some arts give certain characters time to shine, but this one brought them all together and gave them the possibility to be on their own and grow without the heroes there or anything either. So it was a great opportunity that way. And yeah, so that's all we have for My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. We hope you get the chance to see it and enjoy it. If you do, let me know if you see it in 4DX, and let me know how 4DX is, because I just found out that's a thing, and I'm interested to try it at some point. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and plus Ultra. Have a good day.
Later.
Bye!